Hello, TJ Bellotti here. Thanks for stopping back. I want to talk about a word that we've all heard throughout our lives, but now that you're thinking about either starting your own business, or if you've already started your own business and you're looking to get to that next level, or if you've been in business for years and you're just looking to get yourself reinvigorated and trying to move up another level, I want to talk about the word entrepreneur. Now, traditionally, we all think of that word as meaning risk taker. That's what we're always told, that if you use the word entrepreneur, entrepreneurs are risk takers. But as a person that's been in business for myself for over 20 years, the furthest thing that my brother and I think we are risk takers. In fact, we spend an awful lot of our time making sure that our decisions will not hamper the previous growth that we've had, and that it's not a haphazard decision that we're making for the future. We are always looking to make our decisions based on the best possible outcome down the road. In fact, we spend a large portion of our time mitigating any type of risk. We don't want there to be questions about where we're going. We want to know exactly where it is we are headed. And that is true of almost any business owner that I know. So if you are somebody that's thinking about getting into a business, or again, somebody that has been in business, don't think that you are now entering a world of where people are cowboys and shooting from the hip and making decisions on the run, and don't worry about the results of those decisions till tomorrow. That is actually completely incorrect. And if you want to fail pretty quickly, start making decisions that way. Now, in this modern era, there is so much potential for, as I've said many times before, for anyone to start their own business. Now, a lot of us identify, or we hear about, and we read articles about, and we see TV shows about these people that come up with an idea and they become multimillionaires within 2 days, or they start a .com and it turns around and it becomes this incredible success. And Mark Zuckerberg went from a college student to one of the richest people in the world in such a short period of time, and that's what entrepreneurship is. Well, the bad news is that's not what it really is. For the majority of people, when I say the majority, somewhere in the 90 percentile somewhere, for that group of people, entrepreneurship is a very meticulous road that we travel, that we make decisions based on outcomes. Our return on those decisions aren't necessarily tomorrow. In fact, you have to play the long game in any entrepreneurial or any self-employment or any small business startup. You need to be starting and thinking about far down the road, because that's when you get your results back. Again, and I said it before, if your only reason to start a business is to become rich, you're better off to do something else, because the amount of time that it takes to become rich will far outstrip your ability to stay intense until that time comes. So what is it really like out there? What is it for the average person that starts a business, for the plumber that has been working for a plumbing company for 10 years and now wants to start his own firm? What's it really like? Well, what you can really expect is a lot of hard work, but you will definitely move up in your income level if you work hard at it. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be a 7-day-a-week venture where you're on 24-hour-a-day call. That might be what you want. But just this morning, actually, my brother and I were talking about a possible avenue of service that we could offer, and how we could bring in employees at different times than we currently use employees. Right now, we basically run Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, somewhere in that range. And that's the only time during the week we really conduct business, which allows him and I to spend time with our families. It allows time for us to enjoy the things that we like about life. We don't have to be on call 24 hours a day. Now, has that limited our growth? Has it limited our top line revenue? Absolutely. We could definitely have a bigger a bigger top line revenue. We could have a higher bottom line revenue. We could have more employees. We could have a bigger net worth. But is it worth that loss of personal time? Is it worth that loss of following other goals that we have personally, as opposed to just in our business life? So my point is this: in today's era, with the use of the internet and cell phone technology and social media, and how we have gone back to the era of word of mouth and references to businesses like ours, anybody can start a business that could be worth $100,000 in a couple years. You could be earning more than you do now in a couple years with a little bit of effort. But if your idea is, I need to be an entrepreneur that's willing to take risks, willing to take on debt so that I can become the next big thing in business, you're probably going to fail, and your goal is probably not accurate. Now, are there some people out there that can do those things? Of course there are. But that lightning only strikes sometimes, and it only strikes in very specific situations. Right time, right product, right place. And usually it's whenever there's an industry switch for things such as Steve Jobs and Bill Gates with the computer, or Mark Zuckerberg whenever it comes to social media. Those sorts of things do have exponential growth because they're at the cutting edge, the front edge of a huge technology. If you are starting a landscape company, don't expect to be a multimillionaire within 2 years, because it's a very slow-growing business. It is a very heavily diluted market where you're going to have to compete. But again, as I've said many times, 90% of the people really do suck at what they do. So you can really make that inroads. You can really get to $100,000, $200,000 a year before too long. So just make sure that your goals are set for that mindset. If you're already in business, if you've been in business for 3 years and you think, why can I just not make it up over this hump? Maybe your goals are not accurate. Maybe your goals are too big. Maybe you're under the impression that you should be billing $300,000 a year when in reality you should only be billing $200,000. Or maybe you think I really need the Mercedes as my business card because it exudes some sort of success. Well, it might exude success, but it also exudes a bill at the end of the month every month that you have to pay. Maybe that money be better spent in marketing. Maybe that money be better spent in new technology for your business, as opposed to, I need to portray some sort of success. So again, we're not risk takers. We are risk mitigators. We don't necessarily need to have this mindset that we're going to be this very wealthy person in no time because, hey, I'm a business owner now. It is a very slow process of learning, fixing your mistakes, learning, fixing your mistakes. We just had a meeting last week, my brother and I, with a couple of our managers, and we were talking about all of these problems that the managers perceive as never ending, and they're not. So, employment issues. Once you hire people, you are always going to have to navigate that road as an employer, and it never goes away. It doesn't matter how long you've had employees. You're always going to have the same problem. You're always going to have the person who calls off once a week or once a month. The person that can never seem to remember to wash their uniform or wear their uniform. The person that's always saying, hey boss, can you front me a few dollars until payday? Those problems are always going to be there. So if you consider success is whenever you get over some of those problems, what you're probably not understanding is those are always problems we have to deal with. So make sure you have your correct goals in mind. Make sure you're not identifying yourself as something that you're not. Don't be a risk taker. Make sure you know exactly where you're going. Don't expect that you're going to be a multimillionaire in 2 years, because you're probably not. And if that's your only goal, you're probably going to fail because it's not a very good business goal anyway. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Thanks so much.